Good afternoon from Joliet, Illinois. Welcome to today's CCAC soccer broadcast. The University of St. Francis Fighting Saints today host the Trinity Christian College Trolls. I'm Terry Bonadonna. I'll be on the call for today's action as the Saints try to make it 2 in a row. They picked up their first victory of the season. Their last time out, it was right here on this field earlier this week as they defeated the Judson Eagles on Tuesday night, and now they'll get a stiff test today against the top team in the conference, the Trolls of Trinity Christian, who set up at midfield right now and take the first kick of our afternoon's match. It's a dreary Saturday afternoon here in Chicago's southwest suburbs, and the Fighting Saints are figuring to be in a bit of a slog against Trinity Christian, one of the best defensive teams in the country. Saints will have to work hard to get on the scoreboard today as the ball is forced out of bounds by Trinity. The Fighting Saints will get their first throw-in of the game, and they get it across midfield, albeit very briefly, for the first time on their side. Here's Olivia Hollander working it along the sideline, knocked out of bounds, again last touched by Trinity Christian. Quick look at the starters for today's game. First for the Fighting Saints, it's Olivia De La Rosa, Olivia Hollander, Brittany Cook, Madison Hanyon, Haley Hogue, Grace McDermott, Litzy Mendez, Aurelie Sanchez, Mary Kate Heineck, and Kelly Petrowski among the starting 10. Their goalkeeper, who I will tell you a little bit more about in just a few moments, is Yadira Estrada. Trinity Christian on the attack right now. It's Paige Rogers muscled away from the ball, and it's forced down the other way into Trinity Christian territory. Rolls back into the box and then out of the box. So Trinity's goalkeeper has to play it with her feet down in the corner. She rolls it off to her left and starts the move downfield for Trinity. Starters for the Trolls today are Lexi Trujillo, Katie Drenth, Paige Rogers, Kaylee Van Elst, Brianna Uhl, Taylor Miller, Autumn Bergaman. As the ball rolls out of bounds along the near sideline, a throw-in for Trinity Christian coming up. Shaylin Postmus, Easton Armstrong, and Sela Hopkins are the rest of the starters today for Trinity. Their goalkeeper is their star junior, Allie Krantz. Just about 2 minutes have gone by in this one so far, and Trinity has it along the sideline. A battle at midfield right now. Stepping up from the defensive side, Haley Hogue pushes it forward, taken back by the Trolls. And once again, a struggle at midfield. Yadira Estrada, starting in net today for St. Francis, has surpassed Ellie Provo as the regular starter in net for this team, and she's done it on the strength of some great work. Good defensive work right there. Shaylin Postmus tried to make a move towards the net. She was stood up by the Fighting Saints D. Yadira Estrada is making her fourth start, her fifth appearance in goal this year. She and Provo have an identical 2 goals allowed per match average, but Estrada has done it with significantly more trouble. 41 saves she's had to contend with. Her record in her 3 starts on the season is 1 win and 2 losses. This is Taylor Miller for Trinity, pushing it off to her right. Taken away by Mendez, and a whistle blows. It's going to be a free kick for Trinity. The goalkeeper for Trinity is Allie Krantz, 5 starts in net this year. She's made only 9 saves. It's been the defense that's done the heavy lifting for Trinity, but it has been heavy lifting. 3 shutouts, only 2 goals allowed all year by this Trinity team. Here's Estrada stepping up and playing the free kick on the fly. A little bit of contact with her teammate Haley Hogue, but Hogue's okay. Estrada is as well as she makes the save and forces her team downfield, ready to punt it across midfield. Again, Krantz has made only 9 saves. She hasn't had to do much more than that. She's allowed only 2 goals. She's got 3 shutouts, and her record in her 5 starts is 5-0. She's allowed 0.4 goals per game. Trinity entered play today with an overall record of 7-0, 2-0 in conference, and one of their 7 wins was a forfeit. It was also one of their 2 conference wins. So 2 goals allowed in 6 games for the Trinity defense. They've allowed just 13 shots in their 6 games. So, like I said, it's going to be a tough go for St. Francis today on the offensive side. Just trying to generate some kind of power here against this Trinity's defense, which is very stout. Just getting shots off has been uncommon for the Trolls' opponents this year. Autumn Bergman lets it go out of bounds. She'll throw it in here. 40 minutes, 30 seconds remain in the first half. No real attempts for either side yet. Yadira Estrada did get involved on a free kick that sailed into her hands, but had no problem stopping it. And the Saints are still looking for their first jaunt into Trinity territory. They are down deep right now, but not in possession of the ball. Olivia De La Rosa tries to change that. Bergman takes it away from her. Mary-Kate Heineck now locked in battle with Easton Armstrong, and it's knocked out of bounds by Armstrong. A throw-in coming up for Grace McDermott. McDermott along the sideline, bounces it in towards the end line, and nobody there to play it for St. Francis. It's out for a goal kick. Fighting Saints in white tops, yellow bottoms as the home team in today's match. Yellow numbers on their jerseys. Going from left to right in this first half, they're shooting into the south goal. The wind blowing strongly at their backs. It is a very blustery Saturday. Here comes Trinity. Going against the wind, rolled down towards Sela Hopkins. Hopkins on a good run. Hogue trying to match her, and Hogue gets in front and knocks it away. Good defense from Haley Hogue. It is a corner kick and a good chance coming up for Trinity Christian, but it looked like a big-time scoring opportunity brewing for Sela Hopkins, and it did not initially materialize. We'll see what they can handle off of the corner kick. Taylor Miller has it set up, and she plays it in short. Back to Miller. There's the cross from Miller. It's knocked loose. There's a shot, and it's just wide. Just wide on the shot. And Trinity Christian very nearly took a one-goal lead right there. Not to be. A couple of Fighting Saints defenders jumped in trying to head that ball away. They all missed it. It was dropped loose just about 6 yards in front of the net. And a relatively open shot, but couldn't get it to go, just a little bit wide. Here's Trinity on the attack once again at midfield. Trolls are in their navy blues with the horizontal white stripes across the front of their jerseys. White shorts worn by Trinity as the ball rolls into the box, and Estrada scoops it up, going from right to left and shooting into the north goal here in the first half. And like I said, the wind is in their faces right now. It is a stiff wind. It's the coolest game that we've had so far this year. Temperatures hovering around 60 degrees. Out of bounds for a Trinity throw-in. Just under 38 minutes to play in the first half. No score just yet. There's Lexi Trujillo rolling it off to her right. That's Lexi with two X's in case you're wondering. LEXXY, a senior from Chino Hills, California. A lot of Californians on this Trinity Christian roster. They are Chicagoland school, but they recruit from the West Coast pretty significantly. I don't think the weather should have a terrible impact on these Californians, though it is cooler than your average day out there. Still not cold, just cooler than we've grown accustomed to. 60 degrees in late September, of course, is not out of the ordinary. It's just been a little bit warmer than that throughout the month so far. So different conditions today. It's been raining quite a bit. Rained all day yesterday and throughout much of this morning as well, but it has stopped. Wet conditions on the field, but nothing coming down at the moment as a foul is called against Trinity's number 19, Shaylin Postmus. And a free kick is upcoming for St. Francis. This is going to come from dead center and just over 25 yards out. This is a real opportunity here to break the scoreless tie and at least to get their first shot on goal against a Trinity team that very scarcely allows them. Mendez and Hollander situated just behind the ball. Let's see which one of them takes the kick. Three Trolls are positioned in a wall, 10 yards downfield. Here's the kick from Hollander. Hollander takes the shot, but it's saved cleanly by Allie Krantz. So there's the first shot of the game for St. Francis. They're halfway to Trinity's defensive average. That one, though, was no problem for Krantz, who makes her 10th save of the season. We remain scoreless with 36 minutes to play. First half. There's a turn towards the middle. Played by Postmus over to Easton Armstrong and stolen on the pass by Brittany Cook. There's a shot from long range and punched over the net by Yadira Estrada. Good save by Estrada off of a fine-looking shot from Paige Rogers. Rogers from way outside. Fired it in high off the top of the net. Estrada just 5'5" tall compared to St. Francis's other goalkeeper, Ellie Provo, listed at 5'11". She had to use every inch right there, jumping up and tipping it over the net. There's the corner kick, played into Selah Hopkins. There's the shot from Hopkins and another leaping save made by Estrada. 2 saves in a row for the sophomore goalkeeper. Good work by Estrada, good work by the St. Francis defense to keep this game scoreless. Now 10 minutes into the action. Knocked out of bounds there by Kelly Petrowski, who's not been significantly involved in the early stages of today's game. St. Francis has been playing a little bit more defensively to start things out today. Was a throw-in for Trinity, but Petrowski working downfield along with Litzy Mendez to try to get some offense brewing for St. Francis. It doesn't happen as the defense for Trinity holds strong once again. Here's Haley Hogue, defender for St. Francis, ahead for Petrowski. Petrowski pushes it into the middle of the field. Sanchez not there. Patrol's on the move again. This is Rogers. Rogers rolls it behind her intended target, and Madison Hanyon takes it away. Petrowski tripped up for a moment, but she holds on to possession. Rolled ahead for Mary Kate Hynek, but Hynek's not going to get there in time. It rolls towards the sideline. The whistle blew before it got there, and I think that's because Petrowski was tripped up before making that kick. A delayed whistle and a foul called against Trinity. So a free kick from midfield here for the Fighting Saints. Olivia Hollander has it positioned. Hollander's the one who took the shot off the free kick a few moments ago. That one was about 30 yards further downfield. This time she boots it right in front of the box. It bounces once, headed up into the air by the Trolls defense, and cleared cleanly by Trinity. There's Grace McDermott losing it off the first touch. Miller over to Armstrong. Armstrong loses it. Olivia De La Rosa on the run. De La Rosa can't quite get there in time as it's forced out of bounds and out for a goal kick. Brianna Uhl on the defense there. Put her body in front of De La Rosa's and made sure that Olivia De La Rosa could not get to that and force a shot. Instead, she let it go out, a goal kick, and Trinity is able to clear it off the one kick there, but out of bounds. Mary Kate Hynek put a little pressure on Easton Armstrong there, did not allow Armstrong to put herself in position to keep that ball moving in the positive direction for Trinity. It went out, as does this. The throw-in goes right off the legs of Olivia De La Rosa and right back out of bounds. Throw-in for Trinity Christian. Bounces in towards Brittany Cook. Cook doing battle with Brianna Uhl. And Uhl heads it forward to Paige Rogers. Rogers lost it to Hogue, but Hogue knocked it out of bounds. Throw in for the Trolls once again. It's Easton Armstrong. Armstrong headed away by Arely Sanchez. Ball loose in the middle of the field. Posthumus tried to play it, but Haley Hogue kept her composure, kept the ball in front of her, rolled it ahead for Arely Sanchez. Now over to Mary Kate Hynek near the sideline. Towards De La Rosa. De La Rosa lost it off the first touch. Lexi Trujillo took it away. Poked free by Olivia Hollander. Nice defense by Hollander. Hollander down the middle of the field for Sanchez. Sanchez turns and chips it ahead for Hynek. Out of Hynek's range and out of bounds. Throw in for Trinity. 32 minutes to play. Still in the first half here in Joliet. No score yet. A battle of midfielders for the most part so far, as the ball has maintained in the middle third of the field. We've rarely seen either side put any serious pressure on the opposing defense. Selah Hopkins will try to change that on this possession as she rolls it out to Katie Drenth. Drenth pushes it forward. Posthumus knocks it along the sideline to Rogers, and it's taken away by Madison Hanyon. Back across midfield. A long run for Kaylee Van Elst, the senior captain, or the junior captain rather, for Trinity Christian, who knocks it out of bounds. St. Francis throw. Madison Hanyon off of Kelly Petrowski, ricochets towards the middle of the field, and Brianna Uhl is there. She pokes it across midfield, gets it back, lost to Haley Hogue, and cleared by Olivia Hollander. Hollander down the sideline toward Mary Kate Hynek, and Hynek is outmaneuvered on the play by Autumn Bergeman. Trinity in possession. It's Katie Drenth. Pushed across midfield. Tapped back to the defensive side once again. Nice deflection by Sanchez. Trujillo near the midfield circle. Chases it off to the left side and rolls it on forward. This is Bergermann. Over to Rogers. Rogers poked away by Olivia Hollander. Bergermann gets it back at midfield. Just about a half hour to play in the first half here. Scoreless. And here's Easton Armstrong trying to turn that score around. She loses it to Brittany Cook, but gets it back. Deflected off of Grace McDermott. Brianna Uhl's pass goes out of bounds for a corner kick. Another opportunity here for Trinity Christian. This is their third corner kick so far. Saints have not yet had one of their own. Taylor Miller's got it set up. Miller's hand is down, her kick is away. Headed high by Trujillo in front of the net. Saints looking to clear it. Bounces a few more times, tacked back to the defense, and Hanyon's able to clear it. Good stand by the Fighting Saints. Trinity Christian on the move again. There's a shot from long distance and easily played on one bounce by Estrada, turning away Autumn Bergermann's attempt. There's the punt from Estrada. Strong leg on the sophomore goalkeeper. Gets it across midfield. Picked up by the Trolls on the left side of the field. Bergermann over to Easton Armstrong. Armstrong working against Hynek. Passes around her, but Hollander there on the interception. Sanchez rolls it to her left. The ball is poked away. It's loose along the sideline and forced out by Trinity Christian. Fighting Saints throw-in coming up. Grace McDermott steps up from the defensive line to make the toss. Looking for help. Well defended. There's Hynek in good position, but loses it off her first touch. Easton Armstrong on the defense, takes it away. Now Sanchez battles for the ball, and she loses out to Lexi Trujillo. Well played by Trujillo. That's Van Elst tapping back to Bergermann, and Bergermann goes further back. She finds the goalkeeper, Allie Krantz. Krantz passes right back, and now here come the Trolls down the near sideline. Ahead for Uhl. Brianna Uhl knocks it ahead for Paige Rogers. Rogers will run out of room, looking to keep that ball inbound. She had some free space in front of her, but couldn't track it down before it went wide of the line. So a throw in for the Fighting Saints. In off of Miller. Now Uhl taps it back. Gets it back from Armstrong. Pass sails by everybody, and Haley Hogue comes in from the back end. Pushes it out of bounds. Throw in for the Trolls. It's Easton Armstrong. Armstrong throws to Selah Hopkins. Hopkins working for possession. Back to Armstrong. It's intercepted by Mary-Kate Hynek. Hynek, nifty ball work, but can't get around two defenders. Brianna Uhl receives the pass. Uhl going up against two defenders as well, and Olivia Hollander tackles her off the ball. This is Autumn Bergermann. Bergermann ahead for Uhl. One tap to her left. Hopkins right back to Uhl. Hollander takes it away. And cleared there by Brittany Cook. 27 minutes to play in the first half. We are 18 minutes in to a scoreless tie. Kaylee Van Elst ahead for Hopkins, and now it's Rogers. Rogers a little bit too strong, looking for Postmus, but Madison Hanion gets to it first. Gives it back to her goalkeeper, and Estrada kicks it downfield. Now Mary-Kate Hynek for the Fighting Saints. Hynek's pass deflected and stolen away. Ahead to Uhl from Bergermann, and Uhl sizes things up. She passes it down the middle of the field, looking for Selah Hopkins to make the run. But before Hopkins can get to the ball, Estrada scoops it up. And she punts it across midfield again, back out of harm's way. Olivia De La Rosa makes a run for the ball, but headed out of her reach by Kaylee Van Elst. Saints are just looking for one chance, really. Trying to sneak in behind this Trinity defense. So far, the Fighting Saints defense has been very strong. And for as good as Trinity Christian has been as a whole this year, ranked number 19 in the country, they have scored only 10 goals in 6 games. St. Francis's defense has been pretty strong. Fighting Saints have allowed 2 goals per contest this year. rolled back into the hands of Allie Krantz for Trinity Christian, and she gets to direct the flow of traffic now. She kicks it down the middle of the field, and Sanchez takes it away. Sanchez pushes it forward. Nobody there for the Fighting Saints. Rolled towards the sideline by Trinity, and knocked out of bounds by Heineck. No, sorry, it was deflected by Heineck off of Trinity's Easton Armstrong. Throw in for the Fighting Saints. Grace McDermott tosses it in to Olivia De La Rosa. De La Rosa can't keep control of it. McDermott is there. She taps it back towards De La Rosa, but some miscommunication, and it's easily taken away by Trinity. 25 minutes to play in the first half. Here's Grace McDermott losing it to Hopkins. Hopkins passes off to Van Elst, and McDermott recovers to knock the ball away from Van Elst and out of bounds for a goal kick. Like I said, the Saints allow an average of 2 goals per game. Trinity is scoring a little bit less than that. So this is certainly a Saints team that is capable of holding its own against the Trinity offense. The big question mark is, will the Saints be able to generate enough offensive opportunities to pull off the upset today? So far the answer has been no, but the defense has been as good as advertised. No goals allowed through 20 plus minutes in this game. So that's why, like I said, St. Francis doesn't necessarily need to keep the constant pressure on. They're just trying to sneak in a few opportunities wherever they can get them. Here's Armstrong around Olivia Hollander, passes to her left, 2 teammates there. She ends up hooking up with Brianna Uhl, who deflects it off of Olivia Hollander out of bounds. We've got another corner kick coming. Statistically, this one so far has been controlled by Trinity. St. Francis has just 1 shot on goal. That came off of a free kick. Trolls have 3, including 2 at one point in the span of about 30 seconds. There's the corner kick into Paige Rogers. Rogers takes a shot, another shot on goal, and another save for Estrada. She makes her 4th save of the game. And that one she was able to cover up quickly. A bullet off the right foot of Easton Armstrong. But Estrada had it played perfectly. She was right where she needed to be to make that stop. Still scoreless with 23 minutes and a few seconds still to go in the first half. Just about at the halfway point of this first period. Throw-in coming up from the far sideline for Trinity, about 2/3 of the way down the field. Lobbed into Hopkins. Hopkins, the leading goal scorer this year for Trinity. Turns and shoots, but it's deflected immediately by Brittany Cook. No problem stopping that one. Deflects to the backside, and it's kicked out of bounds by Easton Armstrong. Armstrong came in on the far end of that play after the initial shot was taken by Sela Hopkins. Deflected by the defense before it ever even got close to the goalkeeper. They tried to keep it alive on a second shot attempt, but this one nowhere near the net. So Estrada sends her goal kick away. Headed back and forth and picked up by Paige Rogers. Rogers pops a shot up, nowhere near the net. Well high and well wide. Estrada was able to turn her head and just watch that one sail out of bounds. No real threat to her. Estrada's got it set now for the goal kick. Second one in a row. Bounces in front of midfield, headed by Kelly Petrowski and intercepted by Taylor Miller. Trinity in possession of the ball now, and they're back on the defensive side as they reverse field, going from right to left. From their perspective, on the near side, that's Bergman to Rogers. Rogers forced off the ball by Olivia Hollander, and it is cleared by St. Francis. Bergman chases it down to the sideline before it can go out of bounds. Rolled off towards the middle of the field. This is Van Elst. Down the right side, a good run for Trinity. Postmus into the box, takes a shot, it's wide. Yadira Estrada was able to deflect it away. Nice work by Estrada, again in strong position. Shaylin Postmus, a good run. Blew by a couple of defenders and was able to get a shot off, but an ineffective one in the end as it does go out. At least it's ineffective for the time being. If they end up scoring off this corner kick, that shot will go down as very impressive. Deflected away by St. Francis. back to the corner. Still Trinity possession here. There's the cross from Postmus over to Hopkins. Hopkins takes a shot, knocked away by the defense. Good clearance by St. Francis. Couple of chances there for Trinity Christian. They end up not putting one on net. Here's Trinity in control once again, and a miss hit by Autumn Bergeman. She was trying to pass it over to Van Elst, hit it way too hard and well out of Van Elst's range. A throw in here for St. Francis as they're able to reverse field. Just over 20 minutes to go in the first half. Mary Kate Hynek intercepted. This is Lexi Trujillo. Trujillo off to the right side. Pushed ahead by Katie Drenth and deflected back the other way by St. Francis. There's De La Rosa to Sanchez. Sanchez tries to push a through ball to Mary Kate Hynek but can't get it through. Easton Armstrong there for the interception. Good tackle by Sanchez. Gets it back for the Fighting Saints. Hynek trying to keep it in bounds unsuccessfully. It did indeed go out. Trinity gets a throw in. They also get a couple of subs coming on. Sarah Shea is in. Drew McCarthy enters as well. Postmus and Armstrong check out for the time being. There's a throw in for Trinity. Headed back towards the middle of the field by Uhl. And here's Lexi Trujillo. Trujillo crosses field on the far side now. This is one of the newcomers, Drew McCarthy. McCarthy taps it ahead, and it's knocked the other way by Haley Hogue, back off of McCarthy and out of bounds. No score in this one. Getting to the latter stages of the first half. Still a lot of time left, though. Just under 19 minutes before halftime. A whistle blows. Foul called against Trinity Christian. Fighting Saints get a free kick here from 10 yards beyond midfield. Near the far sideline, Olivia Hollander steps up to take the kick. Hollander, the senior defender, on the approach, gives the boot towards the box, bounces once and is picked up by Allie Krantz. Second time today that Allie Krantz has had to make a stop in front of the net, and both times Olivia Hollander is the one who sent it over to her, both on free kicks. That one more of a bounce that got by everybody as Krantz waits for that one to reach the box and now scoops it up. Her previous attempt was a pretty difficult shot from dead on just outside the box. Deflected off the foot of Sarah Shea and out of bounds. Here's Grace McDermott on the throw-in. Bounces a couple of times and makes its way back to Bergeman. Bergeman to Uhl. Defended by McDermott. Good defense by Grace McDermott. Keeps it alive and deflects it off of Uhl and out of bounds. Throw in for McDermott. Lobbed in deep for Olivia De La Rosa. She chases it along the sideline into the corner, and she stepped out of bounds before pushing that ball towards the middle of the field. Out of bounds called against St. Francis. Trinity Christian gets the throw now. 17 minutes to play in the first half. An equipment issue over there on Autumn Bergeman. And a yellow card is given to Bergeman for the delay in the action here. She might have been wearing some illegal jewelry, so she had to take it off. She does get the yellow card as a result of that. Now we're back underway. Here's Mendez. Mendez falls to the ground, slipped on the wet turf, and Trinity knocks it out of bounds. Here's a throw-in from McDermott. Past Hynek and to De La Rosa, who knocks it down off of her chest. Knocked out of bounds by Trinity Christian off of that initial deflection. St. Francis throws it in again. McDermott tosses towards De La Rosa. Again, she's able to control it off the body. And again, deflected out of bounds by Trinity. St. Francis will throw it in again from inside Trolls territory. McDermott lobs it into the box, headed away towards the sideline, out of bounds, but this time Well, I thought for a second that time it might have gone out the back line, but no, it did down in the corner go out just on the side, so it's not a corner kick, but another throw-in. And over everybody's head that time, fielded on the back end by Trinity, now popped up in front of the net, ball's knocked away, and we've got a whistle. Allie Krantz stepped up, tried to make the play, and she was interfered with in the process. So a free kick coming up here for Krantz. Krantz sends it down the near side and finally snaps what was a long run for St. Francis, putting on pressure. The Fighting Saints will get a chance to put on some more pressure right here as a foul is called on Trinity, and the Fighting Saints get a free kick. Ball is set. The kick is away from McDermott. Deflected back the other way by Trinity. There's Hanyon stepping up and rolling it forward out of bounds. It's going to be a goal kick. And finally, possession goes back to Trinity, and Bergman can check back in. Bergman has been off on the sideline for more than 2 minutes. She was forced out with their yellow card. Not allowed to come in until a stoppage, and finally there is one. A couple more substitutes coming in. For St. Francis, the sophomore Grace Giallo makes her first appearance. That's the first substitute of the game for Debbie Rios' Fighting Saints. Erica Perez is in for Taylor Miller on Trinity's side. Sanchez is the one who takes a seat for St. Francis with their substitution. Just under 14 minutes to play. We're in the first half and we're scoreless. Here's Bergman. Rolls it off to Shea on the left. Shea tries to get by Heineck, can't get by Mendez. Mendez ahead for Kelly Petrowski, who's flip sides now, with Giallo entering on the left. De La Rosa for Petrowski, and taken by Trinity. Knocked high into the air towards the sideline. McDermott watches it bounce beyond the sideline. So a throw in for Grace McDermott, and she fires it right to Trinity's Shea. Sarah Shea clears it across midfield, deflected back the other way by Olivia Hollander. Actually, Brittany Cook on that one. Now Hollander's involved. Passed by her. It's Erica Perez. Perez intercepted by McDermott. One kick, sends it the other way. A header by De La Rosa towards Heineck, but out of bounds. There's a throw towards Uhl. Brianna Uhl trying to turn it upfield. She's been stopped so far. Pops that one beyond Olivia Hollander, still in control. And now a little chip ahead for Sela Hopkins, and Hopkins is whistled for the foul. Grace McDermott sets this one up to kick it away. Off the foot of Kelly Petrowski towards the sideline. Heineck tries to save it. She does, but not able to keep it in St. Francis' possession. There's Perez. Knocked off her foot by Litzy Mendez. Controlled once again by Trinity. Hopkins knocks it ahead, and nobody there wearing blue. It rolls to a stop in the penalty box, picked up by the goalkeeper, Yadira Estrada. Estrada sends herself to the other side, sprinting to her left and punting it down in that direction. Here's Mendez. Mendez to Petrowski. Kicked up into the air by Petrowski. The ball loose and controlled by Paige Rogers. Rogers gives it up to Grace Giallo, but taken right back by Paige Rogers. Good recovery by her. McCarthy along the sideline. Long run for whoever gets to that ball first. It's Madison Hanyon. And Hanyon does the simplest thing, just taps it with the left foot out towards the sideline and out of bounds. Throw in for Trinity. They're able to catch their breaths collectively and head down the field. In for Perez. Cook steps in, kicks it out of bounds. That's along the back line. So we've got a corner kick coming up for Trinity. They've had a bunch of them in the first half. Taylor Miller has handled all of the corner kicks, but Miller's on the bench right now. She'll be joined in just a moment by Sela Hopkins, who makes her way out right now. Jaden Wilson comes in for Hopkins. And Erica Perez has the honor of taking the corner kick. Perez goes in towards the middle of the net, deflected towards the back and out of bounds. Jaden Wilson was the last one to touch it. Wilson, who just checked in, had potentially a chance at taking a shot right there. She has not scored yet this year, but sent it well wide to the right, nowhere near the net. We're now just over 10 minutes to go in a scoreless first half. Bergman passes over to Drenth. Katie Drenth works it forward. That's McCarthy. McCarthy has it deflected out of bounds by the Fighting Saints. Tossed in for Uhl. And now headed back by St. Francis. Here's Brianna Uhl again. Rolls it on ahead of her. There's the cross, and nothing doing as it bounces off the back line and then ricochets out of bounds. Estrada didn't have to do anything there, but watch. Now Estrada's got in position to take the goal kick. She's had a very strong first half, keeping this shutout going so far. Had a couple of really nice saves earlier in the half. Hasn't been quite as busy lately. But Allie Krantz has had a pretty uneventful day herself down in the Trinity Christian goal. She's working on her 4th shutout of the season, and as usual hasn't had to do a whole lot in order to get that shutout. It's been the defense that's been the star of the show for Trinity. Defense has been pretty good for St. Francis as well. Haven't allowed too many clean opportunities for the Trolls. Brianna Uhl trying to change that with a good opportunity, but she sends it wide to the left. Out of bounds on that shot attempt. Missed the target by about 6 to 8 feet. Here's Estrada on the goal kick. Headed forward by Trinity. Cleared for the moment by St. Francis. They're having some trouble getting it out of there, and now finally Brittany Cook does. Trinity gets it back, rolls it off to the left. Here's Shea. Passing to Perez, deflected away by Olivia Hollander. In the box, Wilson tosses it back. In the middle of the field, Perez kicks off to the right, and Estrada steps in and stops it. Nobody there for Trinity to make the shot. Just under 8 minutes on the clock as it continues to run down here in the first half. Another big punt from Gigi Estrada. It bounces well beyond midfield, right down the middle. De La Rosa gives it a run. De La Rosa going up against several defenders herself, trying to keep possession alive for St. Francis, and she's called for the foul. Foul on De La Rosa, a free kick for Trinity. Back in their own territory. Kick set up by Lexi Trujillo. Trujillo across midfield. Pinball off of Perez and Hollander. Ball loose and tracked down by Jaden Wilson. Here's Trujillo once again, forced off of it by Kelly Petrowski. And now the Saints can make their run. Mendez, good work to get by a few defenders. Mendez loses it off the next touch. She could have gotten around Bergman there. She was free to take a shot, but Bergman comes up with a stop. Over to Mary-Kate Heineck on the right side, trying to set up a cross from Heineck, but it was deflected. It goes out of bounds, and it's a throw in here for St. Francis. Still knocking on the door of Trinity Christian. That good run was halted. They've still got the ball, though no longer. Heineck throws it into a sea of blue shirts. Kicked away by Trinity. Mendez back in control for St. Francis, though. Mendez rolls it ahead for Heineck, down towards the end line. There's the cross, but right at Trinity. Cleared by the Trolls. On the sideline, McDermott takes it back for the Fighting Saints. Petrowski tips it back to Cook. Here's Hollander. Over to McDermott on the right sideline. McDermott pushes ahead looking for De La Rosa, but De La Rosa's not there. Bounces twice into the hands of Allie Krantz. 6 minutes to play in the first half. There's Heineck losing it to Perez. Perez taps to her left. Brianna Uhl. Back to Erica Perez. Now down the sideline, Sarah Shea. Shea going one-on-one with Grace McDermott. She gets around McDermott. Fires one in front of the net. The ball is loose in front of the net. And now cleared by Brittany Cook. Good stand by the Fighting Saints. That one looked dangerous for a moment. Allie Krantz, the goalkeeper, stopped. Drenth down into the box. Estrada chases it and makes the play. Picked up by Yadira Estrada to prevent anybody else from getting a shot off there from Trinity Christian. And there's the punt down the middle of the field. Bounces once beyond Mary-Kate Hynek. Here's Bergman. Bergman clears it. Off to Perez. Petrowski tried to take it away from her. Possession maintained by the Trolls. Now a good run from Jaden Wilson. Wilson runs into Cook, passes off to the left. Brianna Uhl's got an open look. Cook comes in from behind and knocks it off her foot. Great defense from Brittany Cook, preventing a good shot from Brianna Uhl. And Yadira Estrada is able to pick up that slowly moving ball from Uhl. Great credit, though, again, to Brittany Cook, who saved the score right there. And on the other side, De La Rosa runs straight into Allie Krantz, who picks it up before De La Rosa can get there. Bergman. Ahead down the sideline to Shea. Shea going against Grace McDermott. Good speed for Sarah Shea. Cuts it back towards the middle. Intercepted by Cook. Ball knocked over to Jordan Wilson. Wilson taps it down towards the end line. And it's out of bounds. That was last touched by the St. Francis defense. And we've got another corner kick coming up here for Trinity. 3.5 minutes to play in the first half. So the Trolls are running out of time if they are to carry an advantage into the break. Here's the corner kick. Goes in short. And now knocked out. Trujillo takes the shot, deflected by Haley Hogue. Bergman pushes it forward again for Trinity. Chipped into the box. Offsides flag is up. It's a little bit of a delayed flag. I was surprised initially. It looked like they may have had 2 or 3 players offsides. And when that ball was kicked forward, I expected to see the flag right away, but it did come eventually. And the Saints do get to get the ball out of harm's way and maybe start 1 or 2 more attacks of their own before halftime. Bounces to Jaden Wilson. Knocked towards the sideline. Hynek keeps it alive. McDermott intercepted by Uhl. Brianna Uhl sends it into the box, and it rolls to a stop in the hands of Yadira Estrada. An easy stop that time for Estrada. Punt goes a long ways. Headed back to Kelly Petrowski. Petrowski working her way forward. Contact with Trujillo. No whistle, though, as Trujillo goes to the ground. Mary-Kate Hynek goes off sides. Free kick for Trinity following the violation against St. Francis. Under 2 minutes to play in the half. Trujillo's got the ball set. She sends it away. Off to Olivia Hollander. Hollander to her left, looking for Grace Giallo. Couldn't find her. Instead, it is Olivia De La Rosa. De La Rosa to her left for Madison Hanyon. Worked forward and stopped by Van Elst. Van Elst trying to move the strike forward for Trinity, but so far the ball's stuck in their zone. Coming down to a minute to go in the first half. So not much time for either side to get a sustained attack going. Somebody's going to try to score quickly before the break. This is Hollander. Hollander ahead for Hynek, and Hynek is not going to be fast enough to get to that one. It's out for a goal kick. Bunch of subs coming in for both sides. St. Francis brings Alex Valencia Corona in. Like 4 players coming on for Trinity, including Nineveh Eshwa. Caitlin Bergsma is in. A few more. I didn't see all 4 players. Peyton Richmond appears to be one of them. And one more somewhere. But they're on for less than a minute to close out this second half. Of course, they could remain in to start the second half as well. Less than a minute remaining in the first half, though. It's out for a goal kick. And really, with under 30 seconds to play in the half, if they wanted to, Trinity could have just taken their time giving it a big boot downfield, and then ended the half on that. They don't want to. They want to come down the field and score a goal before halftime. Not looking promising at the moment as the ball is still on their side of the field with now down to 10 seconds to play. One last shot perhaps for St. Francis. Doesn't look like it. It is cleared up into the air by Trinity, and that is how the first half ends. Buzzer sounds, and we are at halftime. Well played first half. Good work between St. Francis and Trinity Christian. It's been a fun game so far, but one in which we've not seen a lot of offense. No goals have scored for either side, and we've got 45 minutes still to determine the winner. St. Francis 1-4 overall, 1-1 in conference, trying to pull off the major upset against the number 19 team in the country, 7-0 Trinity Christian, who sits at 2-0 in CCAC play so far this year. We've got more soccer action coming your way in about 15 minutes. Right now, I'll step aside for the halftime break. Come back in 15 minutes to get the second half. St. Francis against Trinity Christian, scoreless here in the USF Sports Network. Back in Joliet, ATI Field at Joliet Memorial Stadium. Terry Bonadonna with you for the second half of action. St. Francis against Trinity Christian, and we are underway. We flip sides. St. Francis gets the first kick here, going from right to left, and now shooting into the north goal. Trinity Christian going from left to right, shooting to the south side, and they've got possession right now. No score after the first half of play. I'll give you some stats and figures from the first half in just a moment. Taylor Miller rolls it ahead for Brianna Uhl. There's Selah Hopkins tapping it off towards the sideline. Grace McDermott trying to get in the way of that ball, and she knocks it away from Easton Armstrong out of bounds. Of course, no goals to report, so nothing to recap scoring-wise from the first half, but as you might gather if you've been watching this one from the beginning, Trinity has dominated most of the offensive numbers that don't include scoring goals. 16 shots compared to 2 for St. Francis, and that's not really a surprise coming into the game either. Shaylin Postmus hits it towards the middle of the field, and it rolls to a stop in the hands of Yadira Estrada. Estrada made 5 saves in the first half. A couple of them were relatively easy, but a few really impressive saves for Estrada, including at one point 2 in a row in the span of less than a minute. 2 excellent saves to preserve the shutout, and it is still intact right now very early on in the second half. As for Allie Krantz, the goalkeeper for Trinity, as usual, she wasn't challenged very much. She's only made 11 saves all season in 6 games played. 2 of them are today. Good work by Haley Hogue to keep the possession alive for St. Francis. She sends it forward towards Mary Kate Heineck. Nothing doing. Cleared by the Trinity defense once again. Saints have not only taken just 2 shots on goal, they've only taken 2 shots, period. Both of them belong to Olivia Hollander, and both of them came off of free kicks, so they have not been able to generate any sort of offensive attack in the open field. And they won't get a chance to right here either, as Trinity stops them on defense towards the middle of the field. It's deflected by Haley Hogue back across midfield towards Kelly Petrowski, but picked up first by Drenth of the Trolls. This is Paige Rogers. Rogers loses the ball to Hogue. Nice defense by Haley Hogue. Ahead for Olivia De La Rosa. De La Rosa trying to get around Van Elst on the first touch, but Van Elst is able to take her off that ball. Good play by the defense. Trinity in control of the ball on the right sideline. This is Katie Drenth. Drenth rolls it towards the middle of the field, taken away by Mendez. Good play by Mendez. She's not able to maintain the possession, but nice work just the same, just to take that ball away in the first place. We're 3 minutes into the second half. Neither team has yet attempted a shot since halftime. Still no score in this game. Here's Van Elst working against De La Rosa. Van Elst sends it downfield for Easton Armstrong. Brittany Cook gets in the way. Cook trying to knock that ball the other direction, and she does. Nice work by Cook. Very physical play defensively. Taken back by Trinity. Sent into the box, and Estrada's there to pick it up. 16-2, that was the shot total for Trinity Christian in the first half, and in a typical game, Trinity has outshot their opponents by about a 4-1 margin. So the fact that it was at 8-1 in the first half today, it's a big number, but not dramatically higher than their normal number, as a foul is called on Trinity. Little shove that time from Selah Hopkins, sophomore forward from Canada. She's been very quiet today. Hopkins is the leading goal scorer. She's got 5 of Trinity's 10 goals this year, so she's half of their offensive production. She's also entering play today, taking 30 shots. Nobody else on the team had taken more than 14. 20 shots on goal. Nobody else on the team had taken more than 8. So you'd expect Hopkins to really be involved heavily with the Trinity offense. As another foul sets up a free kick from midfield down towards De La Rosa, but headed away by Van Elst. Back towards the back line. Trinity trying to keep this ball in bounds. They can't do it, but Drenth at least does make sure it goes out the sideline and not the end line. Saints still do not have a corner kick yet in today's game. Trinity's had 7 of them, but have not been able to generate any goals off of those 7. Throw in for Madison Hanyon. Hanyon tosses it into the box, headed away by Drent, but De La Rosa there to receive the rebound off to Mendez and a little bit off mark. It's cleared going the other way and headed out of bounds by St. Francis. Again, getting back to the point I was making about Selah Hopkins. She averages 5 shots a game, more than 3 shots on goal per game, and she averages to score a goal almost once a game as well, as the whistle blows and the clock stops at 39 minutes, 42 seconds remaining in the second half. Referee Zach Richter has to have a few words for Trinity's coach. Josh Leonard's in his 18th season with Trinity Christian. Going back the other way, it is going to be a free kick here for Trinity once we resume action. And there's the go-ahead with the whistle. Lexi Trujillo takes the kick. Downfield, deflected back by Brittany Cook. Trujillo steps in, takes it forward again for Trinity. On the far side, this is Bergman. Bergman along the sideline. Intercepted by Grace McDermott. McDermott knocks it back to Miller. Intercepted by Olivia Hollander. Hollander down the middle of the field. Olivia De La Rosa chases that ball back, but it's tapped towards the goalkeeper, Krantz, who gives it back to Drent along the near sideline. Drent starts the move forward to Paige Rogers. And now ahead for Selah Hopkins. Hopkins all alone in front of the St. Francis defense. Hopkins chases it all the way down to the corner. Defense has a chance to get back. There's the cross. Stepping up, Taylor Miller, one touch, loses the ball. Now a shot goes high from Uhl and out of bounds. Goal kick coming up for St. Francis. A chance there for Uhl. Pretty good chance for Trinity, but well defended again by St. Francis. And Uhl's shot sails high. Still no score. Uhl has been the big shooter today. 5 shots, including 1 on goal. Selah Hopkins, who's been their usual offensive producer, has just 2 shots total today. None of them on goal, and obviously no goals scored. Nobody has scored a goal yet. And we've got 38 minutes to play. We're in the second half. Here's Mendez towards the sideline, too close to the sideline. It's out of bounds. Trent tosses in off the head of Hollander. Madison Hanyon along the sideline. Taken away by Hopkins, and Hopkins is forced to the ground by Kelly Petrowski. Good tackle. It was clean, no whistle. Back to Trinity's defensive zone. Van Elst passes off to Bergman on the left. And Bergman lets it roll out of bounds. There's the throw-in from McDermott, deflected by Easton Armstrong. And now it's Bergman. Back to Armstrong, rolled towards the middle, and Lexi Trujillo. Van Elst to Bergman, the defense passing back and forth here for Trinity to keep this possession out of the clutches of St. Francis. Here's Brianna Uhl. Quicker run. She is intercepted by Brittany Cook. Cook clears it ahead to Litzy Mendez. Lexi Trujillo battles to take that ball off the foot of Mendez, but Mendez is able to turn and fire it downfield. Towards the sideline, though, it's out of bounds. Throw in for Trinity Christian. Trolls unbeaten, untied this year. They are 7-0. But so far, St. Francis has given them all they can handle. No score still. We're tied nearly 9 minutes into the second half, so we're pretty deep into the game. And it's been very evenly matched on the scoreboard. Some of the other numbers would indicate that Trinity has outplayed St. Francis today. But the Fighting Saints defense has been very good, to the extent that the Trolls have not had too many really good scoring chances. They've taken a lot of shots, but most of them have been well off the mark. That was kept in bounds. It's still Trinity ball. Taylor Miller keeps possession. Nice job around Mendez. Rolls it back towards the middle. Brittany Cook takes the ball away. Nice work by the Saints defense again. Here's De La Rosa controlling it for the Fighting Saints. De La Rosa back to Haley Hogue. Hogue ahead for Petrowski. It rolls past Petrowski and past the defender Drenth as well. Petrowski gave a little tug to Drenth in the process. Free kick here for Trinity. All set for Lexi Trujillo. Trujillo cuts it across the field. Mary-Kate Heineck there to play it for St. Francis. She's not able to control though. It's Uhl instead. Sending it towards the box. Haley Hogue intercepts. And Brittany Cook clears it for Olivia Hollander. Now Mendez. Mendez back towards Hollander. In between her and Kelly Petrowski. Neither one able to play it. It's Paige Rogers instead for the Trolls. Rogers to the right. Finds Postmus. Postmus into the box. There's an attempt and a goal for Hopkins. Selah Hopkins comes in off a nice pass from Shaylin Postmus and scores the first goal of the match. 34 minutes, 51 seconds remaining in the second half. And just over 55 minutes in, we see Trinity Christian take a 1-0 advantage. Huge goal for the Trolls, as now they can go back to relying on their defense, something they have done all year and done very effectively. Obviously they would like to add on, but one goal has typically been enough for this Trolls team, and now we'll see if the Fighting Saints have another gear offensively, because they have not been able to generate any offensive chances so far in this game. That's the 6th goal of the year for Selah Hopkins. She also leads the team with 2 assists, so she's got 14 points this season. Assist came from Shaylin Postmus, and that's her first assist of the year. Out of bounds on St. Francis, thrown in by Trinity into the box. That is Hopkins. Back to Brianna Uhl at the corner of the box. Good defense there by St. Francis's Alex Valencia Corona, taking her off the ball. In front of the net, Yadira Estrada plays it on a hop. 1-0 Trinity Christian leads on the 56th minute goal scored by Selah Hopkins, sophomore forward from Bowmanville, Ontario in Canada. Here's Mendez rolling it off to Olivia Hollander. Quick tap to Brittany Cook. Cook bounces it downfield, and Van Elst steps up to start to move in the other direction. Taylor Miller working against Mary-Kate Heineck. Miller passes back to Van Elst. Van Elst reverses field on the near side now. It's Katie Drenth. Drenth to midfield and Paige Rogers. Rogers halted by Olivia Hollander. Good defense by Hollander, but she loses it to Brianna Uhl. Uhl gets it back in a sea of white shirts. She dribbles towards the corner and now passes back towards the middle of the field. Brittany Cook there to clear it. This is Paige Rogers for Trinity. Tapped away. Litzy Mendez over to Valencia Corona. They're able to clear it. Hollander turns with the left foot. Knocks it forward looking for Kelly Petrowski, but it's deflected out of bounds instead by Postmus. Here's the throw from Madison Hanyon into Petrowski. Petrowski deflects it off of Uhl out of bounds for a throw-in. Kelly Petrowski looking for help ahead of her, off the head of Valencia Corona, and cleared by Van Elst. Here's Selah Hopkins. Hopkins, the goal scorer a few minutes ago, passes off to her right and Postmus. Postmus ahead for Uhl. Nice touch to get around Cook. Brittany Cook recovers, gets back in front of her. Two of them battling for the ball, and it's won by Brittany Cook. Knocked back to Madison Hanyon, who clears it. Good play by Brittany Cook, and Hanyon's able to finish it off. Just under 32 minutes to go in the game. 1-0, Trinity has the lead. At midfield, it's Lexi Trujillo. Trujillo passes off to the right, looking for Postmus, but she's behind her. Out of bounds for a St. Francis throw-in. Hanyon into Petrowski. Tapped it off towards Lexi Trujillo, who's able to intercept. And now Bergman takes her time, retrieving that ball on the defensive side for Trinity. This is Trujillo. Back to Van Elst. Van Elst dribbles it downfield. Rolls it forward for Hopkins, and Mary Kate Hynek there to intercept. This is Katie Drenth. Drenth's pass deflected by Mendez, taken away by Petrowski. Petrowski's kick tried to go back towards Mendez, intercepted, but gotten back by the Saints. Petrowski to Mendez, two of them working their way down the field, rolled back towards the middle of the field in Petrowski, but Bergeman steps up and sends it away. Well defended by Bergeman, who stopped St. Francis's best chance of the second half so far. Towards the sideline, Brittany Cook passes, taken away by Easton Armstrong. Armstrong sends that one high towards the net and well out of bounds. Mary Kate Hynek got in the way defensively, and Armstrong was just not able to get a clean shot off. So easily out. A goal kick coming up here for St. Francis, and Estrada's got it set on the line. Just about a half hour to play left in regulation here. Estrada's kick doesn't get the same benefit from the wind that it got in the first half. The wind at the back of the Trolls now. And Estrada was using that wind to punt the ball sometimes 60 or more yards in the first half. Here in the second, her goal kick died up in the wind, was knocked down after just 35 yards or so. The foul is called on Kelly Petrowski. Free kick here for Trinity Christian, set up by Lexi Trujillo. Trujillo is ready to go. There's the approach and the kick. Cross field. It bounces past Paige Rogers towards the back line and out of bounds. Another goal kick for the Fighting Saints. Substitution coming on for Trinity Christian, Erica Perez, who played some fine minutes in the first half. Coming out to do the same here in the second. Paige Rogers departs. There's the kick from Estrada. Mendez pushes to the right side. Hynek tracks it down. Over to Mendez again, but Taylor Miller takes it away. Trinity in possession, taken off the foot of Selah Hopkins, but rolled down towards St. Francis's defensive side. Estrada comes well out of the net, and she's able to scoop up the ball with no problem. It was a one-on-one run there. Brianna Uhl challenging St. Francis, and Estrada got to the ball before she really had the opportunity to do anything. Sent towards the box again, and Estrada will just watch this one. No chance to make a play as it rolls out the back end and out of bounds. 28 minutes on the clock. Estrada sets up another goal kick. It's been a long time since St. Francis has been able to pull the ball down to the other side of the field. Let's see if they can mount an attack now. Headed out of bounds by Drenth. Knocked away from Kelly Petrowski, and a throw in here for Madison Hanyon. Deflected off the face of Postma. She's got that face mask on, and the clock stops. Postma's wearing the mask to protect her face. And the ball hit off of her head right there, and I'm not sure if it had any effect on the mask or if that one may have hurt. I'm not sure exactly what she's protecting. Usually those things are either protecting the nose or the cheekbone, and she got a good deflection there. One may have thrown her off a little bit, so she's going to sit down off on the sideline, and we're ready to continue now. 27 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock. Begins running once more as Trinity kicked it out of bounds intentionally to give possession back to St. Francis. Estrada has it set up for the goal kick. Tapped back to Madison Hanyon. Hanyon looking to control the ball, but working against a tough defender. Sarah Shea just entered the game. Or Hanyon, I guess, is the defender. Shea, tough offensive player. This is Haley Hogue. Worked ahead for Olivia De La Rosa. One touch back to Petrowski, and out of Petrowski's reach, Selah Hopkins comes in and takes it away. Litzy Mendez takes possession back for St. Francis. Down the far side. This is Mary-Kate Heineck. Makes a nice move back towards the interior. Now rolled ahead for Mendez and a little bit behind Mendez on that pass. It's taken away by Trinity. Hopkins pushes forward. Knocked back into the box for Trinity Christian and picked up there by Allie Krantz. One nothing, the Trolls lead. Nearly 20 minutes into the second half. They scored their goal just under 10 minutes ago, about 9 minutes ago right now in game action. Goal was scored by Selah Hopkins. A couple of substitutes coming on right now for Trinity. We just saw Sarah Shea enter. Now it's Jaden Wilson and Drew McCarthy re-entering the game as well. And a substitute coming on for St. Francis as Grace Giallo is back out there. Alex Valencia Corona takes a seat for the Fighting Saints. Technically speaking, she's still standing, but she is on the bench now, or near it. Giallo into the game for her. Here's Kaylee Van Elst. Van Elst downfield and towards the back line. That's going to go out of bounds. Goal kick here for the Fighting Saints, Anna Estrada. 25 minutes to play in the second half. It's 1-0. It was tied at halftime. Scoreless between a couple of good defensive teams. It has been tough sledding though all day for St. Francis's offense, which did figure to be the case. One of the best defensive teams in the country. Trinity Christian against one of the slower offenses in the CCAC so far this year. Fighting Saints have scored just 4 goals in 5.5 games. That didn't mean that they weren't going to be able to score multiple times against Trinity today, and they still have the opportunity to do that. They just knew it was going to be a challenge, and so far that has indeed been the case. Trinity takes it away again near midfield. Miller down the sideline towards that marker and out of bounds. Throw in here for Grace McDermott. Fighting Saints really have done a nice job to keep this game as close as it's been. Again, scoreless for the first 55 minutes, and then shortly after that, Trinity got their first goal, and so far the only goal for either side in this match. Brittany Cook rolls it ahead for Grace Giallo. Giallo knocks it down the field for Litzy Mendez. Mendez loses that battle with Van Elst, but the ball is loose again, and Mendez is able to track it down. Head for De La Rosa, back to the middle of the field. Lexi Trujillo steps in front of Mendez and forces it away. Headed up into the air by Brittany Cook. Jaden Wilson controls it for Trinity Christian. Tapped off to Selah Hopkins. Now Hopkins making a run. Hopkins pushes ahead into the box, and that makes it an easy pickup point for Yadira Estrada. Estrada punts it on a line. It bounces shy of midfield towards the direction of Giallo, but beyond her reach. Katie Drenth is there. Drenth knocks it back for Kaylee Van Elst. Van Elst over to the left. This is Bergman. Bergman halted by Mendez, and Mendez still working to try to take it in the other direction, but a whistle blows, and Mendez was being a little bit too aggressive trying to take that ball away. So it's a free kick coming up now for Trinity Christian. We're at the exact halfway point of the second half. They lead 1-0. On the far side of the field, that's Trinity in control of it. Bergman rolls it off for Miller. Tapped back to Trujillo, and Trujillo's ball is intercepted by Olivia Hollander, but off one touch from Hollander, taken back by Trinity. Van Elst over to Drenth. Drenth on the near side. Pushes towards the middle. For a pass deflected by Haley Hogue. The ball is loose, and Grace Giallo gets to it. She taps it with the left foot downfield. Nobody there for the Saints. Giallo will try again, and she's stopped by Trujillo, deflected by Giallo, out of bounds. Paige Rogers is back in for the Trolls. Lexi Trujillo takes a seat. And Drenth has a throw-in. Back to Jaden Wilson, off of her foot. Kelly Petrowski loses it off her first pass. Good steal from Madison Hanyon, taking it away from Selah Hopkins, and Hopkins knocks it out of bounds. It's a throw-in for Hanyon and the Saints. 1-0 they trail, getting late here. 21 minutes and 15 seconds to play in regulation. Game one of a doubleheader here at Joliet Memorial Stadium today. The Fighting Saints and the Trolls do battle again next. It's not these same two teams, with the men's soccer game scheduled to begin around 3:30 this afternoon. Pitch the same two schools against one another, so a busy day of action on ATI Field today. Saints are maybe trying to force a little longer game here in this one. They'd love to score one and force overtime. Selah Hopkins makes the run towards the end, and she pulls up, keeps the ball inbound. She'll set up the offense now. Hopkins loses it around Madison Hanyon, knocked away by Brittany Cook. Saints lose possession again. That's Sarah Shea, and she's knocked to the ground. Hanyon and Petrowski in on that stop, and Hanyon is whistled for the yellow card. Madison Hanyon is the first Saint to be booked in this game. And it comes at a bad time on the field as well. A bad location on the field, more than the time. 6 yards outside the box, just to the right. Selah Hopkins, who already has a goal today, now in position to take another shot. Hopkins instead plays it on the assist, and Estrada deflects it away. The rebound is saved again. Another chance at a rebound, and it's cleared by St. Francis. Great work by Estrada. There's Selah Hopkins from long range, firing it 20 feet wide of the net. Great stand by the Fighting Saints, their best defensive effort of the game so far. And it's out for a goal kick now. Here's Estrada. Ball halted up in the wind once again. You can hear it right now. It is blustery out there. And that wind is blowing pretty much straight north to south, which means it's blowing at the backs of the Trinity Christian offense right now. In the first half, of course, that meant that was blowing in the favor of St. Francis. Really has not picked up or died down since the game started. It's been very consistently strong. Down towards the box, and Krantz decides not to take the chance of letting it bounce one more time and picking it up. She steps in and kicks it downfield. Now a foul called on Litzy Mendez and a free kick for Trinity. Just 19 minutes remain on the clock now. Brittany Cook's pass deflected by Jaden Wilson. Cook gets it back, sends it over to Olivia Hollander. Ball up for grabs right now on St. Francis' side of the field. Offsides, I think, against Trinity. Free kick for St. Francis. Olivia Hollander's got it set up. It's been Hollander's free kicks that have been the only thing that have allowed St. Francis to claim any shots in today's game. This one obviously from way too far to take a shot on goal, but 2 shots off of free kicks. Other than that, Saints have scarcely been able to get onto that side of the field, let alone take a shot. Paige Rogers passes to her left. Trinity trying to control possession here. Take some time off the clock, as they do have a 1-goal lead with 18 minutes to play. Krantz passes to Rogers on the left. Paige Rogers works it ahead. That was Perez, deflected, but off to Sarah Shea, and now Shea is on the run. Going up against Brittany Cook. There's a pass to Uhl, a shot and a save by Yadira Estrada. Defense put a little too much pressure on Uhl there. She was initially in good position as she received that pass. A great pass as well from Sarah Shea. But the defense forced Uhl to take that shot sooner than she wanted to, just didn't get anything on it. And it turned into a pretty easy stop for Estrada. There's a whistle and a free kick coming up for St. Francis. Hollander sets it up once again. Waits for her teammates to get in position downfield and now sends it away. Down to Mary-Kate Hynek, who taps it back to Kelly Petrowski. Petrowski, St. Francis' leading goal scorer this year with 2 of them. In fact, she scored the first 2 goals of the year for the Fighting Saints. They've scored 2 more since then. Hasn't been able to take any shots yet in this afternoon's match as Grace Giallo chases that ball, but watches it go out of bounds in the end. Giallo tried to head that one, but passed her to Brianna Uhl. Uhl down towards the box. Sarah Shea is there. Shea has it poked away from her by Haley Hogue and out of bounds. Throw in for the Trolls. Bounces in front of the net. Tapped back towards Jaden Wilson. Wilson takes a tumble, and the Saints are able to clear it as a result. 2 chances there, one for Wilson and one for Perez. Neither one able to get a shot off. Now Perez will try again, or Wilson rather will try again, but that's wide to the right. No serious threat that time for Trinity Christian. Still 1-0 the Trolls lead. 15.5 minutes remain in today's game. Trinity trying to reverse direction with it. Brittany Cook towards the sideline. Back to the end line, actually. She's not able to keep it in play as it goes out for a corner kick. I think the wind hurt Cook there. She tried to kick it off towards the sideline, but the wind just carried it straight out the back. Corner kick coming up. And it'll be taken by Erica Perez. Perez in front of the net, headed away, now ball loose in front of the net and kicked out of bounds by Trinity. That was deflected out for another corner. And so another chance for Trinity right here to extend their lead. Starting to get to a stage where a 2-goal lead might be insurmountable. This would be huge if they can get one. The wind blows the ball out of position. Perez has to set it up again. Here she goes. Headed up in the air, knocked forward by St. Francis. On the back end, it's Miller, deflected. Perez sends it towards the net. Estrada is there to make the catch. Crisis averted by St. Francis. Their deficit remains 1-0. There's the punt from Estrada. Petrowski is intercepted. And Drew McCarthy rolls that one past everybody and right into the waiting hands of Estrada. There's a big punt from Estrada, drops just shy of midfield, bounces across the midfield circle. Kelly Petrowski looking for Olivia De La Rosa, but cleared by Drenth. Litzy Mendez hits it up into the air. Now Madison Hanyon. Hanyon forces it back beyond midfield, and Giallo keeps it alive for the Saints. Here's De La Rosa. De La Rosa going across field looking for Mary-Kate Hynek. And Hynek not able to secure that ball. Instead, it's taken by Drew McCarthy. McCarthy taken to the ground, slides back towards Hynek in retaliation. Both plays clean, and the Saints keep the ball up. Jaden Wilson loses it off her foot. Back over to Madison Hanyon for St. Francis. Hanyon ahead for Giallo, deflected. Petrowski is there. Olivia De La Rosa on the sideline, knocked away from her and out of bounds. Throw in for St. Francis. It's Madison Hanyon taking it, tossing it in softly to Giallo. Grace Giallo has it knocked away from her, gets it back, and now to the back line, Madison Hanyon watches it spin out of bounds. Another St. Francis throw-in coming, this time from the wrong side of midfield. Jallo tries to head it back towards De La Rosa. Can't control it though. And a foul is called on St. Francis. Free kick from the near side, just shy of midfield for Kaylee Van Elst. Van Elst's kick sails a little high for St. Francis's defenders. Chipped by Perez into the box. Sarah Shea tries to chase it down. Shea's kick is deflected out by Madison Hanyon. We've got another corner kick coming our way. Just about 11 and a half minutes remain in the second half of today's game as the Trolls bring a couple of their starters back in. Lexi Trujillo and Sela Hopkins return to the action. Miller and Wilson check out. Perez sets it up for the corner kick. Erica Perez goes long with it in front of the net. Knocked away by St. Francis. Now it's up for grabs in the box and cleared by the Fighting Saints. Hopkins gets it back for the Trolls over the right side. Perez hits it high in the air and the wind pushes it out. Here comes Arely Sanchez back in for St. Francis. She started. First time we've seen her in a while though as Kelly Petrowski checks out. There's the kick from Estrada down towards the sideline. It stays in though. And a foul is called on Trinity Christian. Fighting Saints are back on the road coming up after this. Their next game is on Tuesday. They're at Governors State on Tuesday night. And back home for a 5 o'clock in the evening affair against Robert Morris next Saturday. Governors State 0-1-1 in conference so far this year. Robert Morris 2-0. So that's a big game on Tuesday. They're all big, of course. So they try to beef up their conference record. But when you consider playing 2-0 Trinity Christian today, 2-0 Robert Morris next Saturday, you want to pick up wins if you've got a chance against a team that has struggled. Governors State would be that team. They're playing later tonight against Holy Cross. 6 o'clock start time today. Here come the Trolls. This is Sarah Shea into the box. Shea turns and takes the shot that's deflected by Brittany Cook. Cook controlled it and kicked it straight out of bounds. Easton Armstrong coming back in for Trinity. Looks like Shaylin Postmus is as well. She comes in to make the throw. So more starters return to action for the Trolls. They've got pretty much their entire starting lineup back out there. Ball's thrown into Drenth. Drenth, the defender, forced off the ball by Sanchez. Nice work by Sanchez, but she can't quite keep it in bounds. It goes out and Trinity will get the throw in. Drenth goes after it slowly. It's getting late in this game, and with a 1-goal lead, Trinity will not be in much of a hurry to get anything going here. They're trying to protect this lead as well as they can as that shot sails high from Easton Armstrong and out of bounds. Another goal kick for Yadira Estrada. Clock runs down close now to 8 minutes to play, and St. Francis has not so much as taken a shot on any play not involving a free kick. No offense to speak of so far in this one for the Fighting Saints. Into the box. This is Uhl. Uhl is offsides. Offsides called against Trinity Christian. St. Francis gets another free kick here. Trinity's defense entering play today was allowing just 2.5 shots on goal per game. In terms of total shots allowed per game, it was just 4.5. Their defense easily stacks up against just about any other defense in the country. Down the sideline and out of bounds, a throw in for the Trolls here. They've shown off that defensive prowess today. They haven't done anything spectacular in this game. They're just doing what they do well all season. They're doing it well today. Just holding steady in this one against the Fighting Saints, who have 6 minutes and 50 seconds in order to get their first goal. Here's Olivia De La Rosa on the run. De La Rosa stopped on the play by Lexi Trujillo, and Trujillo passes back to Van Elst. Again, Trinity can eat up some clock here. Defenders play catch for a little bit. Sent downfield. And that's where Brittany Cook retrieves it. And Cook kicks it out of bounds for a throw-in. Toss back in a play by the Trolls. Along the edge of the box. There's a shot, and it rolls to a stop in front of Estrada. And now we've got a whistle blow as Brianna Uhl took that shot and made some contact in the process with a St. Francis defender. She's on the ground right now. Clock stops at 6 minutes, 11 seconds remaining. And they'll get some medical assistance down on the field for Brianna Uhl. She is in the box right now. She was in the box when she took that shot. If there had been a foul called, it would have been a penalty. And a penalty kick for Trinity Christian. There was nothing called. Just a little shake-up, and she's okay. She gets herself up and jogs towards the sideline. So no serious problem, despite the need for a trainer to come out and have a look at her. She's all right. She has to come out for now. But it looks like she's going to get herself in position to come right back in on the next whistle. Free kick here for St. Francis. There's Selah Hopkins taking the ball away. Hopkins takes a shot and she scores again. Coming off of the St. Francis free kick, Selah Hopkins just took the ball away and went in easily on her own for the goal. Uncontested on that shot. Hopkins has both goals. It's 2-0 Trinity. Six minutes, 11 seconds to play in the game. And now a big lead of 2-0 for Trinity Christian. There's Brittany Cook booting it downfield, headed towards the sideline and out of bounds. Madison Hanyon tosses it in to Sanchez. Sanchez battling for that ball, keeps it alive. Gives it up to Grace McDermott. The two almost ran into each other as Lexi Trujillo takes it away. Jaden Wilson loses it to Madison Hanyon, but Hanyon knocks it out of bounds. That inbounds pass is intercepted by Sanchez over to McDermott. Now De La Rosa got it with the hand. Not an intentional handball by Olivia De La Rosa, but it bounced up. Hit her in a bad spot. And free kick set up for Trinity. Zach Richter heads over to the St. Francis sideline to offer an explanation, presumably on that last call. 5 minutes, 12 seconds remaining. The clock is stopped. The handball was called against Olivia De La Rosa. And now the ball is set for Trinity to get the free kick. That kick goes down the other way. Push back to Bergman. Bergman downfield into the box, and Estrada picks it up. There's Estrada's punt back to midfield. Trujillo taps back over to Peyton Richmond. And Richmond sends it down to Selah Hopkins. Hopkins, good ball forward, but Brittany Cook slides in and makes the stop over to the sideline, out of bounds. A few more subs coming in for Trinity. They bring in Caitlin Bergsma as well as Drew McCarthy, and Taylor Miller, starting midfielder, comes back on the field. Four minutes, 16 seconds remain in this one. Score is 2-0 in favor of Trinity Christian. Trinity in possession right now. De La Rosa tried to take it away from Trujillo, and in the end, St. Francis does take possession. Here's Giallo off to her right, off of the face of Litzy Mendez, who falls to the ground. And Mendez is down after getting a ball deflected, again unintentionally, but it was deflected off of her face. That one never feels too good. Mendez pulls herself up, and I guess that's not surprising. She wasn't hitting the leg or anything, but she's getting a quick talking to, and she'll have to come out of the game for a few seconds, but she doesn't appear to be in too much pain at the moment. She walks off with 4 minutes and 3 seconds remaining. And now turns it into a light jog as she departs. Trinity will put the ball back in play. Van Elst gives it up to Yadira Estrada. There's Estrada's kick back to midfield. Hollander over to McDermott. McDermott down a ways where it is halted by Van Elst. Back across midfield, Madison Hanyon heads it ahead to Giallo, but Lexi Trujillo intercepts it instead. Hanyon over to Sanchez. Arely Sanchez is forced off the ball by Taylor Miller. Grace McDermott takes the loose ball down to Olivia De La Rosa. De La Rosa centers to Sanchez, intercepted by Miller. Drew McCarthy tried to give it a big kick downfield, didn't get all of it. Headed back by St. Francis, and now a missed kick by Peyton Richmond goes out of bounds. And the Fighting Saints get to throw it in. They need 2 goals in 3 minutes here, so they've got to work quickly. Madison Hanyon sends it towards the middle, near the head of Hollander. Now Hollander does head it towards Mendez, who's back in and immediately fouled. Foul is called on Mendez's fellow number 15, Taylor Miller. Remember, Mendez had gotten hit in the face with the ball a few minutes ago, had to leave for a second. It looked like she may have been inadvertently elbowed near the face on that one, so it's always a tough thing to come back into. There's the free kick by Hollander. It's halted in the box and cleared. Hollander off to her right. Haley Hogue intercepted by Lexi Trujillo. Hogue down towards the sideline, taps it out of bounds, and it was not deflected by Easton Armstrong. So it is a Trinity throw-in with 2 minutes to play. Towards the near sideline, that's kicked straight out of bounds. Throw in here for Madison Hanyon. Hanyon again trying to work quickly ahead to Grace Giallo. Giallo gets it by Peyton Richmond towards Sanchez, but picked off there by Kaylee Van Elst. And offsides called against Trinity Christian. Hollander sets it up, approaches quickly, and there's a big kick down the left side of the field, headed up into the air by Trujillo and back the other direction by Sanchez. Now Olivia De La Rosa looking to control the ball. De La Rosa passes off to her left, but it's intercepted there. Jaden Wilson took it away. And Trinity still in control. Down towards Caitlin Bergsma. It bounces past her outstretched leg. Out of bounds for a Madison Hanyon throw-in with 1 minute on the clock. Wilson knocked away to Bergsma. Bergsma rolls it for Shaylin Postmus. Postmus gets close to the box, takes a shot. Estrada makes the catch on the fly. Good save by Estrada. And now one last chance at a run here for St. Francis. McDermott taken by Taylor Miller. Miller rolls it off to her left, and Trinity Christian taking some more time off the clock with the extended possession here. Bergsma taps it into the box. There's a shot from Armstrong. It's off the post. And I think it hit off the wrong side of the post. It was out of bounds. A goal kick here with 12 seconds remaining. Saints will try to push forward once more. This is Mendez. She loses it and knocked out of bounds by Trinity. That's how the game will come to an end. Saints do not have time to get the throw back in, and we are final here in Joliet. Trinity Christian comes to town, and on the road they're able to knock off St. Francis by a final score of 2-0. Both of Trinity's goals came in the second half after a good defensive battle for the first 45 minutes of today's game. It was a good defensive battle in the second half as well, but just constant pressure from Trinity Christian's offense. At some point, it's tough to maintain that wall when you're the St. Francis defense. The offense didn't give them much possession time today. They did not put the ball in the offensive third of the field pretty much at all the entire afternoon. Trinity's defense was just too good. Saints weren't able to get any real shots off. They had only won the entire second half, and they only won the entire game that didn't come off of a free kick. Trinity outshot St. Francis by a total of 31-3. 12 saves made by Yadira Estrada. She was very good in today's game, but ultimately 2 goals scored by Sela Hopkins. She got one off of a very nice pass from Shaylin Postmus in the 56th minute, and then in the 84th minute, she came away with a steal and then scored on her own, and that put the game away for all intents and purposes. It made it 2-0 and an insurmountable deficit for St. Francis to overcome. So the Fighting Saints fall to 1-5 on the season. Fresh off of their first victory of the year on Tuesday, unable to make it a 2-game winning streak. They are now 1-2 in conference play. As for Trinity, the number 19 team in the country remains undefeated. They're now 8-0 on the season, and they are 3-0 in conference. Today was the 5th time in 7 games that they were able to shut out their opponent. So St. Francis didn't get much of anything going offensively today, but they're in good company because that's been the case for every opponent that Trinity Christian has seen this year, as the Trolls do come away with the 2-0 win. That's going to do it for this broadcast. The next one coming up for St. Francis women's soccer a week from today. They're at Governors State on Tuesday for their next game. Their next home one, though, next Saturday evening, a 5 o'clock start time against Robert Morris. Stick around, though, if you like St. Francis soccer. We've got the men's version coming up against Trinity Christian in just a couple of minutes. 3:30 is the scheduled start time for St. Francis against Trinity Christian men's soccer. For right now, it's time for me to sign off. Terry Bonadonna saying so long for now. Talk to you next time. St. Francis falls to Trinity Christian 2-0.